Good afternoon. Good afternoon. What am I talking about? I'm so tired right now. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Stoked podcast. I'm so glad to see you all again. On this Thursday night, as we wind down the summer. I'm so sad to see the summer go. Got to be honest with you, um, but that's okay because the end of the summer begins football, and then as we get closer to my one of my favorite holidays, Thanksgiving. I'm looking forward to that. So, but yes, welcome to a Stoke podcast, creative talk with creative people. I am Javon Stokes, uh, owner of Visually Stoked Media, writer, artist, podcaster, everything at this point. Um, you know me, I'm just trying to grind. I'm looking forward to tonight's show. I got a old friend of mine way back, like teenagers. I'm almost certain. I believe it was like teenagers. A longtime friend of mine. We're gonna get into that. But first, obviously, welcome. And I don't know where Jamari is. Y'all know Jamari be late. That's all right. We gonna keep it moving. Um, as I always do, I encourage everybody to go to www.visuallystoked.com where you can see all the good stuff I do. You can buy your copy of Strong, and right now you can pre-order your copy of Heat, the collection. Volume 1 collects all 3 of the miniseries issues on top of the 70-page graphic novel, as well as some cool things that I have going, some cool extras that you guys would like to see. Kind of shows how the what is it how the sausage is made. But yes, you can go online, you can do that, and please support visuallystoked.com. Oh, there's Jamari. He's so late. Welcome, sir.
Hello,
You're
sir. Hello.
way too late. You're always late. You got to stop pushing keys before shows, man. You got to stop.
It's the only way I know how to live.
All right. So let's bring in our guests. I don't, you know me, I don't like to leave the guests waiting too long. So let me. I don't got my water. Do I have some water? I do have some water. All right.
Drink water and mind your own business.
All right. Here we go. Our next guest is an incredibly successful attorney who has found a way to merge the metaphysical with the practice of law. She's been a frequent guest doing legal commentary on TV shows like TV One's Fatal Attraction and Payback and Oxygen's True Crime. An acclaimed author, her recent book, Focus, Redirect the Magnifying Glass of Your Life to Live the Life of Your Dreams, deals with holistic health wellness, and she's a longtime friend of mine. Very good friend. Let's give a Stoked podcast round of applause to Misty Oaks Paxton. All right. Did I bring you in well enough?
Peace. Oh, that was that was
Right.
good,
Well,
my friend. Yes,
welcome.
we go so far back, Javon.
We
High
do.
school.
I
High
know.
school. Isn't
I
that crazy?
really just realized that like 3 minutes ago. I was like, I've known you since I was a teenager.
Yes.
And it's so funny.
And the crazier part is so I met Tanika in college, and then later on I found out that you two were dating. I was like, oh, that's a good match.
I remember I was like, yeah, it's my friend Misty. She's like, Misty, you know me? No, I think it was the other way around. She's like, oh, you know Misty? I was like, how do you know Misty?
Right.
It's so weird, We're not gonna talk about how we became friends. That's the old
That's another thing. We're gonna keep that
those
back
that
in high
know.
school. Right.
Those that know.
Now I want to know.
I tell you offline.
I feel like
I
I need to
I
know
don't
this.
want to call people out. We'll need to go into my place. We'll
Right.
need to do that. We'll need to welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm so
you.
glad to get you on the show. I mean, I'm always trying to find people who do things that are almost a little bit off the beaten path. We do a lot. We do a lot of comic books here, and we do a lot of art. But I wanted to get like a different type of perspective. And when I saw that you refer to yourself as the spiritual attorney, I was like, yeah, I can't not have her come on and talk about that.
Right. First of all, let me just say I'm super proud of you. Been drawing for like ever, doing your artwork forever, and I'm just so happy to see how it's evolved. And now you have the podcast, you have your son, your daughters. You're just like this grown man, and I'm like, wow, I remember you way back when. It's so amazing. So I'm super proud of
I
you.
know. I know
Yeah.
I'm old. That's all right.
Stop.
Oh yeah.
We're
So
the same age.
congratulations on the baby.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
on the upcoming baby. Uh,
Thank you.
Mrs. Paxton. Was it Mrs. Oaks Paxton? Excuse me.
It's Mrs.
Hyphenated.
Paxton. No,
What?
it's
No.
my
No
husband always
hyphen.
says the hyphen is invisible, but really, I just wanted to give honor to my dad because I'm the last girl, so I'm like the only person to carry on the family name. But it's Mrs. Paxton. Yeah. So
Okay.
looking
All
at
right. All right. Okay.
it.
All right. So yes, congratulations on the
Yeah.
baby. You having a son, so it means you will literally be running around for the rest of your life.
I'm telling you, maybe he'll help me lose some of this weight he helped put on me.
You ain't gonna have
So,
no choice. You literally will. Hey, you know what though? It might be more your husband more than you,
yeah, it'll be
because
a good
he's
deal of the
pretty
both of us.
chill with my wife. Junior's pretty chill with my wife, but for
Okay.
me, it's like game time to play.
Okay. Okay. We'll see. We'll see. I'm sure he'll keep both of us on our toes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
All right. So as we get started, I usually try to ask people the same first question. You know, everybody has kind of their
Okay.
focus. So
Mhm.
I always kind of go, and what I'll start with you is what got you interested in working in law, first and foremost.
That's so interesting. So, to be honest, Johnny Cochran, you know, I
Okay.
watched the O.J. Simpson trials when I was like in eighth grade, and we watched it in school. And every day I was like, "Yo, he's the man. Like, he's really, really good. I want to do that." So Johnny Cochran really like inspired me and fired me up. But I just never thought that I would go to law school. I was it's a lot of school. I don't know if I'll ever actually do it. And my college roommate, who is my best friend still to this day,
Okay.
studies courses. And I was like, oh, I could do this. I really like this. So I majored in legal studies. And then I was like, law school is only 3 years, so it's going to fly by. So I might as well just do it. And I did it, graduated top of my class. I loved every minute of it. And I was like my lane. So I guess it was kind of just in me. I've always liked to argue my points, you know, always like to make my case clear. So
I hear you. I hear you.
yeah, so it's just in alignment with who I am, I guess.
Okay. Now, to everybody who's watching, please feel free to chat in the chat. You can make a comment. You can ask a question. We will respond to it. Before I get into it, Jamar, you have a question?
This is all new to me. I am the neophyte here, so I'm learning in this situation. So
Okay.
you continue on. I'm fascinated.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. All right. All right. So wait, before I ask law school was 3 years. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep. 3 years full time. Yep. If you go
Hmm.
part time, I think it's like 4 years. So, but
Interesting.
yeah.
I always thought it was 4 years. Right, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe
Well,
I
I don't
would.
know what
Maybe.
it is these days. It was like 50 ago, but it was 3 years. Yeah.
I remember my mom saying that I should do law. She's like, "Oh, you always like to debate and do all that other stuff. You should be a lawyer." And I was just like, "That sounds like a lot of reading." And I
It
like reading, but it
is.
don't sound. But I like stuff that entertains me. I don't. I couldn't. I don't know if I could sit and go through and then
Yeah.
remember. Nah, that's just too much. That's too much. Y'all can have that. I'll leave that to
But
you.
you would make a really good like to argue your points. That is a fact.
I do like.
So
I do like to. I debate.
you do.
Debate.
You do.
Argue implies emotion. Debate is purely
Oh,
logical. That's how I always look at it.
we'll
All
go with
right.
that.
So of course. So we gotta go. Don't even roll your eyes, Jamari. So we gotta get into this. Tell me what a spiritual attorney is.
Okay, sure. So just like there are man-made societal laws that keep everything in order, there are also universal laws, spiritual laws that keep this universe in order. There are 7 billion people on the planet. And so this universe has to be utter chaos, right? So there
Okay.
are principles that are immutable, irrefutable, like the law of gravity, you know. If you fall off the side of a building, it doesn't matter if you're a bad person or a good person, you're going to hit the ground, because that's what the law dictates, right?
Okay.
So being that I'm fascinated with the law, I began to study all types of spiritual medical concepts actually in law, because I was super stressed out. I was overwhelmed. I was like, workload up to here, and I was like to bring me some peace of mind, some centering, some grounding. And so I started studying energy work. I started reading tarot cards, birth cards. I started studying just meditation, all types of spiritual principles, that peace. And I was just fascinated by everything I was learning. I wanted to share it with everybody. I was like, have you heard about this? So,
Okay.
I really got into it. I'm a passionate Scorpio. So whenever I'm passionate about something, I want to be all up in it, and I really just dove to the study of spiritual universal laws. Um, and, I met my husband not long after, and I was doing kind of like, nobody really wants to, nobody is really going to pay for this or be interested in this. And my husband just continued to encourage me. He was like, this is what you're meant to be doing. You're like really, really good at it. You should be doing this. And so I started doing it as a business, as a service. And it's been awesome ever since. I've been able to help so many people, and I'm really proud of that.
Okay. Did you give your husband a reading? Did you do a reading for your
No,
husband?
I did. As soon as I met him, I was like, when is your birthday? I need to know. I need to look you up. I need all your cards. I need to know. Yeah, absolutely. Just like my girlfriends do now when they meet somebody, they call me up, they text me, look up this birthday for me. Let me know what
So
I'm
is it
dealing with
po-
here. What'd you
so is it
say?
possible that we can get a reading for Javon?
Sure. Sure. We could get a brief reading. When is your
Sure,
birthday
whatever.
again,
My
Javon?
birthday is August 2nd.
August 2nd. Oh, that's so interesting. Let me just make sure I'm giving the right card.
Here we go.
Yep. So you're a jack of diamonds. You are a jack of diamonds is your birth
Jack of
card. Have you
diamonds.
ever heard that before? Yes.
No.
Okay. Super creative, very youthful, forever young. They can be the Peter Pans that never want to grow up. So acts are very crafty. They can be very just young forever, have a very youthful forever. On the low side, they can shirk responsibility. They don't like a whole lot of people putting like pressure on them. Very deceptive on the low side. On the high side, they can relate to anybody. They're great salespeople. They're great at the things that they're really passionate about. So, like your artwork, your comics and stuff, you would be really, really great at promoting that. You can be very great with business. Anybody who's a diamond is great with money business. So you would have no problem like attracting business partners and to help further your business goals. The one thing that you really just have to watch out for is the tendency to be, again, very crafty. You can create to and out of situations. Most of y'all love to debate, so now I can see where that comes from. So, because you're great talkers. Everybody really loves a jack of diamonds. Your energy kind of like elevates the room, kind of makes it a little bit more laid back. But again, if you're not careful, the jacks can just be the playboys and playgirls who never really grow up and accept
Interesting.
responsibility for their lives. It really just
Okay.
depends. I don't know if you're acting out the high side or the low side. But yeah,
I'm almost
that's
afraid. I'm almost a little afraid because now, like, if my wife watches this, I don't want her to like take notes on the low side. I don't want
yeah.
her to be like, "Oh yeah, your low side.
Oh, you're
Remember your low
deceptive,
side,
huh? Oh,
Javon?" Like, oh
yeah.
gosh, yeah, yep, yes. Thanks,
Yeah.
Misty. I
Well, we all
appreciate it.
have a low side, so
Well, see, now we have to do Jamari.
Okay, that's cool. When's your birthday, Jamari?
March 15th.
Oh, you're a Pisces, a fellow water sign. Let me look you up because I don't remember that date. Okay, March 15th. That's really interesting. Eight of Diamonds. I could see how y'all would get along because it's a similar energy, but in a different manifestation. So Eight of Diamonds, should I start? So eight is a number of power, first of all. So it's a very powerful card. It's a strong card. Y'all can be the y'all like to spend money. Y'all like to go shopping. You know what things are worth. You like items of worth, items of value. You tend to be the center of attention or like to be the center of attention because the Eight of Diamonds sits in the center of all of the other cards in the spread. You all can be like, people like to plug into Eights of Diamonds because energy, it's very strong. It's almost so people tend to like want to plug into you and kind of, get some of your energy. And it can be very draining, first of all. But yeah, Eight of Diamonds is just a super powerful card. Sometimes they can be bullies, especially of your loved ones and people that are really close to you, just that
Yeah, he's a
strong.
bully.
So you have to
He's a
be
bully.
mindful of that, and y'all don't even realize that you're doing it. But very powerful energy. The only thing I would definitely say to watch out for is an imbalance of power. So trying to control others. Also the imbalance, overspending. Y'all are great with making money, but you spend it almost as quickly as you make it. Watch out for that. So you might not be so much on the bullying side because Pisces don't really like to hurt people or dominate people really. But you definitely want to watch out for that. Time is super powerful. Y'all are basically like the sun. So if you think about yourself like the literal sun, you can power anything that you touch. Very successful card. But just watch out for imbalances of power is the main thing with you guys. So that's just the quick
Okay.
and dirty version. I mean, there's like,
The quick and
hour-long
dirty one.
readings on this
No,
stuff.
that's all right.
So,
Really? So
yeah.
you get, how in depth do you get?
It really depends on what kind of reading we're doing. So I just did a Destiny card reading for a sister yesterday. I took about an hour. We gave her an overview of her whole year ahead. Like she just had a birthday. So I basically told her range, like what her major focus is. I told her an area that's going to come very easily for her this year, an area that she's going to have to put in a lot more work this year. I told her it's like what was going to be going on for her. So it really just depends on what kind of reading we're doing. We could get super in depth, or I could just give you a 5 minute, this is what you're dealing with type of situation.
Now, do you have a website so I can put it across because I forgot to ask this. What's your website that people
I
can reach out
do.
to you?
Yeah, it's thespiritualattorney.com. And I'm on
That is excellent branding.
Instagram. What'd you say?
That is excellent branding, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That was my husband right there. That's branded by DAP. So if anybody's looking for any branding, my husband is the man with the master plan,
Okay,
just by the way.
we're gonna have to
You
have
know.
him on the show, man.
Yeah,
That's what
I'm
he
gonna have to
does.
plug him
Yeah,
in. He's
we walk
awesome.
that in. I'm all for giving shine to anybody who's trying to do something creative or whatnot.
For
So
sure.
it's really interesting because like spiritual and attorney almost sound like they don't belong together. Like,
Yeah.
so how do you marry the two? Like, did you marry the two when you were practicing, or is this like that's just the branding part of it?
I did not marry the two because they are extremely different, actually. Being an attorney, is very left brain, very logical, analytical, very, sometimes emotionless because you have to just stick to, the facts so you don't get caught up in certain cases. So it's very left brain. Aspect is very intuitive. I'm almost in like a channeling sometimes, when I'm doing the work. Totally different. And so I did not marry the two. But it is, what happened? You know how I came up with the name spiritual attorney? It was actually one of my spiritual mentors, a sister who I respect so much. She was doing a reading for me, and she said, "That's who you are. That's your path. That's
There
your
you go.
brand. That's you." And I was like, "It's me." So I took it and ran with it. And that's how we got the spiritual attorney. But really, an attorney is just
Okay.
one who represents another, who acts on behalf of another. So, I mean, that's really what I do in my spiritual practice as well. So it kind of fits, although it's counterintuitive because you think an attorney is like,
Right.
a shyster most of the time, And so it is kind of like, how does that fit in with spiritual? But
Hmm.
that's kind of the intrigue of the brand name. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, how does that work? So it kind of pulls people in a little bit. That's what I hope for.
Now, before I ask Jamari, let Jamari ask a question. I have one question. What type of law did you practice when you were practicing?
So I practice various types of law. I've been practicing 15 years now. So I started off at a large law firm. I was doing white collar criminal investigations.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I was coming after the big boys and their toys. That was stressful. They see little old me coming and they're like, "Oh, who is this?" So I did that for a while. I started my own law firm and I did foreclosure defense, loan modification, short sales, consumer defense, consumer pretty much the whole time. And as of late, for the past, I don't even know now, maybe 6 years, so I do
Oh,
real estate closings, mainly. The simple stress-free stuff, the paperwork stuff. I can live, so I
okay.
do real estate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. All right, go ahead,
Yeah.
Jamari, before I go.
So if you're doing real estate, what are some common things that people might not know about that side of law?
That's interesting. I mean, they don't really get into the title stuff, which is a big thing. I recommend everybody to have title insurance anytime you're buying a house. You want to get title insurance. People think, oh, this house is, I'm only the second person to buy this house and nothing's going to happen with the title. But you have no idea, like the chain of to you. So you definitely want to protect yourself. I know a lot of people feel like it's not necessary, but it is necessary. So because you want to protect yourself in the future as well, in case anybody shows up on your front door saying, "This is my house and I have the title." So
Does that
definitely,
happen often?
I don't know about often, but it definitely happens.
No.
And there are several cases, if I have property nightmares still, you know what I mean? From cases where a person has handed down the deed to 5 different heirs, or, they sold it to 3 other people, and then it's like this whole dodge of who has the title. So it definitely happens, especially when you're dealing with like an estate,
That legitimately sounds
because you never
scary.
know who
That does.
it's a mess.
Like that's
It's a
something I
total
would have
mess.
never even considered.
It's a mess. Yeah. So just get the title insurance much more. Right now, I would say that refinancing has slowed down, which is mainly my area, what I do. Refinance closings, it slowed down because the rates have gone up so much. COVID times, it was like 2.5% for an interest rate percent. So not a lot of people are refinancing, but if you're looking to refinance, because I have a feeling it might be going up even further. So I'm just saying,
Is that because the
go ahead.
housing market is slowing down, or what? Why is the interest rate going up? Is that why?
Several reasons. Several. Inflation. The feds are trying by modulating the interest rates. So they're changing it based on, all sorts of inflation, the war is going on. Like, it's like so many factors where they're basically trying to use the interest rates on homes to modulate uh, inflation, pretty much. And so the housing market slowing down is not helping because that adds to one of the factors that they use. So and inflation is they're just starting now to acknowledge it. So I feel like as it, continues to make front page news, the interest rates might go up. I think they just said Turkey just increased their interest rates. They hiked it up a couple percentage points. It's headed there. So I'm just saying, if anybody's trying to refinance, you might want to go ahead and lock it in now. I know it seems high, the interest rate, but it's better at 6%
It
than
might get
16.
higher.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
So
You're actually making me feel like my theory is more legitimate now.
what's the theory?
What's
The
the
theory
theory?
is that if you, as you're saying now, if you want to refinance, it's probably the time. I feel like if you want to get a house, I would try to get a house within the next 5 to 7 years, because I think within the next 15, it's going to be darn near impossible to own a house outright.
Yeah, I can see that. That sounds pretty fair to say. Yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, the home costs here in Atlanta, especially, are out of control. When
Really?
I first
Yes. Oh, yes.
oh my
Yes,
God,
sir.
oh my Lord, when I first moved here, you can get a nice house, like nice, for like $1,000. That same house today, 400, 500,000, and in areas that
Oof.
I'm like,
Easily.
who's trying to live there?
Easily.
That's
Like, who wants
Connecticut.
to
That's
live in that
Connecticut
part?
Anybody from
prices.
That's what I'm
California and New
saying.
York.
It is.
That's
I say,
Connecticut prices.
I say that all the time. I'm like, wow, this might as well be Connecticut prices. Yeah, it's so that's true.
It's
Y'all
funny
better get
because
it while
like
the
when
getting good.
my
Go ahead.
it's funny like years ago, my wife and I when we came down to Atlanta for, and I think Jamari knows the story. We came down to Atlanta for a wedding, and this was around the time I think we weren't married yet. I'm almost certain. I don't think we were married yet. But I was like I'm gonna convince my wife to move to Atlanta, mode. And so we like drove around like Decatur, and I think she had like this app that she would like take a picture and it would say how much the house is worth. She's like, "Oh my gosh, it's so cheap." And now I'm thinking to myself, that shit, if we were gonna do it, that was it. Like, we might as well stay up here.
Well, I mean, there are other benefits to living down here, so don't let me
Well, you
turn
know I
people
love
away.
Atlanta. You know I love
Yes,
Atlanta, so I'm not gonna, But
true.
I think right now, well, right now, y'all politics aren't exactly inviting. Like
Man,
I don't know if
COVID
politics
made
there's
me.
anywhere
five
are
states
inviting.
with there's 5 states with
COVID made me
halfway.
no. Hey, listen, I'm in a blue state. All right, like we're a solid blue state. Y'all have your moments.
Yeah,
y'all could
yeah.
y'all could go blue, red, purple.
Mm-mm.
Like y'all could be all over the place.
Man, outside of
Man.
Atlanta city limits, outside of Atlanta, I don't know. It's a whole
Yeah,
nother world out there.
50
So,
to 100
Right, that's what I'm
miles
saying.
outside of
Yeah.
yeah.
Atlanta in any direction, and you can run into all kinds of crazy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
That's a
So
fact.
I was in that moment. I was there for a minute, and then COVID hit, and I saw how y'all responded to COVID. And I was like,
Nah.
nah,
Yeah.
it's safe for me. I will see you guys later. I will gladly come visit. No worries. I'll see you guys
Yeah.
later. But yeah, so I mean, this is
I
really
feel
interesting.
you.
I didn't know that that's the law that you practice.
Mhm.
But you said you did white collar law. What
Criminal.
can you give us like the? Can you give us the craziest like story that you've ever
Uh,
experienced there that you can say without being sued? You can
I
change
was gonna
names of.
say I don't even know if I could get to this day because it involved a city official, like a pretty well-known one too. So yeah, it was pretty
Damn,
crazy though. Yeah, we'll have to
man.
talk about that off camera
So
because it's.
oh, you
I
gotta
mean,
tell. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry.
yeah, because they're
I
still
don't.
pretty
I'm
well
not trying to get her sued.
known.
No, we
So,
don't want. We don't want any
right, I'm like
lawsuits.
details, but yeah, that one was probably the most involved. I have to say, in most time, and I don't even know if we had the resolution. To be honest with you, I think I'm not even sure what the ending note was on that, but it was yeah, definitely involving a high-ranking, well-known city official. that had some issues. So yeah, we'll talk about
Now I
that
gotta
off
know.
camera. Yeah.
Now I gotta know. Write
Yeah.
down my list. So I want to go back a little bit to your, the metaphysical, per se. First, do you do like yoga and all that? Do you do yoga and meditation?
I do yoga, but not as an instructor. I just do it for my own personal practice. I do have who is like the yoga, like Maharashi guru that I love. But yoga, I do meditation. I'm a meditation coach. I'm a mindfulness coach, a spiritual life coach. I do energy work. So I do Reiki, naturopathic, Kemetic Reiki. I do womb Reiki. I'm certified in all of these areas. I do EFT, which is a emotional freedom technique, which is a tapping energy clearing technique. I do so much. I'm an
Can you
author. I'm
can
a
you explain
speaker.
more about that?
Sure. Which one? The EFT?
Yeah, EFT.
Yes. So EFT is almost like acupuncture, but without the needles. And it also combines pretty much self hypnosis in there as well. So instead of using needles on certain meridians in the body, we use our two fingers. And there are 9 main tapping points that will help recirculate any blocked or trapped energy, right? Because we all have remnants of tense energy in us from something that might have happened to us 10 years ago. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? If you've been through any traumatic situation, anytime you see something that looks even remotely like that later on, you get immediately tight. You're like, oh, I don't want that to happen again. And we go through daily stress, simple as it's a 4-way stop sign and everybody doesn't go their turn. You know what I mean? And we like, what, we all up in arms, right? So everybody has a certain amount of tension that they're holding in their subtle body. We don't even
Mm-hmm.
realize that it's there. But when we reminisce and tell the stories of what happened to us, we bring up all of those emotions and we're like back in that moment again and we're feeling it all over again, right? So what the EFT does is it helps clear out that energy. It opens up those chakras. It opens up that heart space. It recirculates that energy that was like stuck to you like this, right? A certain amount of self hypnosis. So we clear out the old story that we were telling ourselves, right? So he abused me, he did me wrong, he cheated on me, he left me, I was heartbroken, I was lonely, all that stuff. We clear that out, right? We weed that up out of the garden of your mind and we replace that with a new story, right? I'm stronger now. I'm better now. I'm wiser now. I won't make the same mistakes twice. I make better choices now, things like that. And the technique that we use allows the affirmations to really take hold, to really change your life as opposed to just talking. It actually creates new scenarios in your life. So it's very effective. It changed my life 10 years ago. Actually, probably more than that now, more than 10 years ago. It changed my life. On a trip to Japan, a 14-hour flight to Japan. And at the time, I had the worst flight anxiety ever, right? And I was like, I do not know how I'm going to make it 14 hours on a plane. So I went to a holistic health fair like the day before my flight. And I was telling this health counselor, I'm like, I'm so scared. I'm so nervous. I don't know how I'm going to make it. And she was like, sit down. Let me tap on you. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that
You're
what that
like,
does, but
no, thank you.
okay. Right.
Don't
I was
touch me.
like, tap on me, okay. So I sat down and she just started tapping on all these points and giving me all these affirmations and I felt so much better. And then the next morning my flight left and I was so calm. I was like so at peace. I was able to enjoy the flight. I'm walking around, I'm watching movies, I'm having like a good time on this 14-hour flight. And I'm like, oh shit. I was like, I said, I have to learn how to do this. And so that was 10 years ago and it's been changing ever since.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting. I don't know if I'm all. It's funny. Like my wife and I when I first met, when I first started dating my wife loves massages. Like
Mm-hmm.
massages are her way of, one of her ways of de-stressing. But for
Yeah.
me, like I'm not big on strangers touching me. Like, like, you know what I mean? Like, so I know we did the couples massage, and they were trying to like, and I wonder if they did like, because they did like, I know they like did something like tap with like 2 fingers or something, but like I'm so tense, like, so it was hard for me to enjoy it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know. I was just like, I don't know who this person is, but we were in the same room, so it was kind of this weird,
Okay.
like, okay, I have a stranger, touching me, and I'm not big on touching, and I look over and I'm watching a stranger touch my wife. It was weird.
Right. Right.
That's mine. So I'm wondering if like the tapping thing might, if it was something that they did, because I remember it wasn't just like deep tissue, like they would like, but
Oh,
it was
like,
like a hard tap.
oh, interesting. Oh, I don't know
It was like a hard.
what
I
that is. That
remember it
might
was like hard. I know they did it with 2 fingers because I felt 2
Okay.
fingers. It was like a
Okay.
hard. It was like a hard tap, like right,
Oh,
like in the middle of like my shoulder
shoulder
blade.
blade.
Really weird.
Oh, dang. Oh, they might be doing
But when I
something.
saw you,
I don't know.
doing the EFT tapping, the first thing I thought about was like, did that person do that? But I don't know. Maybe that person did. I don't know.
Well, with me, you do it on yourself. Like we do it together. So I'm tapping on myself
Oh,
and you're
really?
tapping on yourself. Yeah. So I show you where the
Interesting.
points
Oh,
are, and
okay.
we're in this journey together. When you work with me, we're in it together. So, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it will
Now you said you don't
definitely
teach
come.
yoga. You don't teach yoga,
I don't.
but you don't want to. You don't sound like you don't.
I don't really have the flexibility for yoga. I've tried, and I will not be doing it in front of a class. No, I I don't want to make myself look bad. But I have a
I,
good
I
friend who's awesome at it, so I just follow her and try to do my
I'll
best.
give my yoga story. I'll give my yoga
Okay,
story real quick, and then we'll
sure.
get back. And I'll let Jamari ask a question. This is my yoga story, and I think I've told Jamari this too. I was at SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design, and my friends were all like, "Hey, let's do yoga together." So I was like, "Okay." It was me and another friend, me and another guy, and we're like, "All right, cool, we'll do yoga." But we were like, at that time I was really working out more. Like I was in the gym, I was lifting. So we were like, I looked at him and he's like, "Yo, yeah, we should get a lift in before yoga, like, cause that they ain't gonna give us what we want." And I think we did like we were like bench pressing. We were doing all these like we were getting it in. Like we were really getting it in. So we get to the yoga, yoga happens, and we're in there, and they're like, "All right, do downward dog." And I promise you, I pushed my hands down, and my arms gave out.
Ooh,
Like that's how hard we went working out. So it was honestly, like I was in so much pain with every position.
man.
Like afterwards, we're both looking at each other, like laughing in through the pain. But it was just so bad. And they were like, "Oh, we're gonna do this again." I was like,
I don't know about.
sure. Just let me get my lifting in the day before. But that was my yoga experience.
Yeah.
I haven't done it since then.
My yoga teacher, my good friend, she always tells me if you're in pain or it's like really tight and really like, uncomfortable, that means that you need to do it more often. You up and make you more pliable. And I'm like,
All right. Yeah, that sounds great. You do that. Yes, you do that. All right, go ahead, Jamari.
So what are some of the other services that you provide?
I think I listed them just
You
about
said you some
all.
of them. How does anything else other that
Yeah.
might have been?
The only thing I didn't mention, I think, is the reading. I do tarot reading, love cards, which is basically your compatibility with another person. I can
Oh, okay.
tell you the connection you have between the two of you that you have. Um, some
That
high
sounds like
side.
it could be awkward.
I try to make it as empowering as possible. You know what I mean? Like with my readings, actually, my husband, I did a reading for somebody the other day, and my husband was like, "How did it go?" And I was like, "It's probably not what she really," but I give it to them in a way such that they can make choices with the information. Right? It's nothing to be afraid of. It's more so just things that you need to be aware of in order to make more conscious about which, because I have no like, I know people are like, oh, take it easy or don't give me a bad reading. I'm like, I don't have, my position is just to share with you what is coming through. I don't have I'm not going to tell them that because it's bad or they might not like it type of thing. I'm going to share what it is, just give you the information and the tools that you need to make your choices. Yep, I do love card reading, destiny card readings, which I recommend everybody to get once a year on their birthday, because again, it gives you your overview for the whole year. Your own personal New Year starts on your birthday. For everybody, but your own personal New Year starts on your birthday. So it gives you basically a land of what's coming up for you that particular year. So again, you can make more intentional choices about where you want to be, what type of career do you want, like who do you want to be with, all of those types of things. So my main thing with all of my services is just empowering the client to be the co-creator of their life, and we do that with knowledge, we do that with information, and we do that with empowerment. Like, oh, I don't want to know because I'm scared of that information, so that's my thing.
So have you ever done like a reading? You're like, ooh, like you just like take a like, ooh, like I don't know if I want to share this with this person.
Yeah, I've done a couple where I'm like, okay, let me pause, let me meditate on how to share this information with them, because it can be a little scary, especially with some of the tarot cards. I had one reading where the person had the devil card, the death card, the tower card. It was like, several back-to-back cards that
Back
are
up. What's
very
the
heavy.
tower card? Because the devil card and the death card are pretty self-explanatory. But what's the tower card?
Well, you would think that they would be self-explanatory, but they actually have very interesting meanings. Tower card is basically like your world is crumbling basically around you. Basically a fall from grace, changes that can disrupt your whole grounding. Basically everything is gonna come crashing down so that you can rebuild anew, in a way. And it can be very upsetting, especially if you're very ego driven. Your ego can be very bruised, uh, so it's a very disruptive energy. The devil card means that you're being bound by your lower self, and in some way you're allowing yourself to be enslaved to your lower self, whether it's addiction or abuse of some kind, or you're basically caught by your lower self, and having a very hard time getting out. And the death card is really just transformation, really. And people see the death card, they're like, oh no, somebody gonna die. That's not really what it means. It just means that a part must die to transform, and if you don't let it go, then there will be consequences, so it's a card that basically forces you to let some stuff go, which can be very difficult for most people.
How often does your husband get readings?
That's an interesting question. It hadn't been so much lately, but every once in a while he'll be like, "Read me." He'll come sit down and be like, "Read me," So, but we've both been so consumed with baby proofing and nursery and getting everything together. I hadn't really had time to read for him or myself lately. So,
Yeah, you don't need to do too much for baby
I,
food. Just put
I'm
like the
curious.
little plugs, just the plastic
and
plugs
the
in
plugs,
there.
right? The cabinets we gotta do,
Just keep the
right?
knives in the drawer. You'll
In
be
the
fine.
drive, right? Right. What were
Go
you
ahead,
saying?
Jamari.
That's something I was kind of curious about when some people say if you are going to, a doctor wouldn't work on themselves. When you are doing readings, is that considered a good thing to do readings for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I do just brief readings. I'll pull cards for myself for sure, where my energy is, because the cards are very telekinetic, like on your energy where you are at the moment. So I can definitely do a reading and be honest with myself. If it's a bad, if it's something I need to be aware of, I'm like, oh shit, I might not want to, I might need to be aware of this, but when I want like an in-depth reading, when I want somebody just neutral, I do
Yeah.
have one gurus, if you will, my mentors, that I will be like, okay, I need you to do a full reading for me. So I think it's good to do readings for yourself. You are, excuse me, but I do also think it's a good thing to have, people that you know and trust, that be objective about what's happening. We can't really see ourselves, you can't really see yourself without a mirror. And sometimes we think we look at the cards and we're like, oh yeah, this is what it says. But sometimes we need an outside person to be like, oh, but did you think about this interpretation of the card? You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But definitely
Okay.
have some folks that you can rely on too. Yeah.
Can
Mhm.
you explain? You said Reiki. What's that?
Reiki. So Reiki is basically like a massage for your energy. So watch your wife getting massages and getting rubbed and tapped and all of that, clearing out the tension in your physical muscles, Reiki clearing out the energy in your subtle body, your energetic body. So, a lot of people talk about the chakras. I call them chakras. Just that ch sound is a harsh sound. So, and that's a whole nother talk. But yeah. So the vibration of the word, we talk about chakras and how they're the energy centers of the body, and people know things. What they don't know is, again, anytime you have a strong emotion, anytime you feel hurt, sad, angry, fear, jealousy, any type of negative emotion that into your chakras. It gets deposited into your energy body. And like I said, we don't even realize the energy is still there. So what Reiki does is I use a variety of techniques to help clear the chakras, to open them back up and to get them rotating in the direction they're supposed to be rotating in. So you're firing on all cylinders. So I use crystals, I use sound, I use instruments, I use touch. So we use colors even. So it's a combination of different therapies all in one to help clear your energy, pretty much.
Okay, that's interesting. I know
Yeah.
my wife had this. She had a stone. Don't remember what it was, but
Okay.
she was. It was a stone, and I feel like she put it like under my pillow or something. It was supposed to do something. I can't
Okay.
remember. I can't remember. It was like, oh, to be more agreeable or something like that. But it was like, it was
That's
something like that. And
funny.
she's like, yeah, it's working. But I was like, I
Yeah.
can't remember what it was. I was like, all right, cool. Hey, if I'm not gonna call anybody crazy.
Oh
If it works
yeah.
for you, it works for you. I can't
Oh
even
yeah.
remember what the stone was. I really wish I remember what the stone was.
Oh yeah, there's so many of them. Just the crystals alone is a whole study unto itself. But yeah, that's funny that she put one to be more agreeable. That
She
is
had like a
interesting.
few of them. She had
Yeah,
like a few of them. She probably still has them up there. I just can't remember what they were. I just remember she was like, "Oh
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
I did this," and I was like, "Really? I don't remember." It was either
Yeah.
under my pillow or it was somewhere near me, like
Yep,
when I
while you're
slept.
sleeping.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
just like,
that's really
"Okay, all
good.
right, hey,
You
listen,
know what she
knock yourself
doing?
out."
Listen to your wife. She doing, because
Just
the crate at a certain frequency. It's like an instrument. You hit a note on a piano, and it's gonna have a certain vibration. The crystals all have their own vibration. You to what you're looking for. So if you want more prosperity, more abundance, more health, whatever, your peace, they're crystals for just about everything. And when you wear them close to your body, they actually attune to your energy. So it's really interesting. Under your pillow, you want to be careful because there are some stones that are very high vibrating stones, and that will like prevent you from going to sleep, only attuned. So you just want to be mindful of what crystals you're putting under your pillow. If you're having a hard time sleeping
I
with
don't.
them
I
under
can't
there,
remember if it was under my pillow or it was just
okay,
near.
near the
It was
bed,
near
yeah.
me in some form. Yeah,
Okay.
somewhere.
Okay.
What what stones have you used with your husband?
Oh, a variety, a wide variety. So my husband actually is a very I don't like to call him psychic, but he's a very visionary, right? So he at one point was like he's having these dreams and you know these visions and all this stuff. So I bought and it's called the Merlin stone. And it basically helps to connect you, basically helps to clarify your dreams so that you can decode them easily and basically understand them.
Hmm.
And so I gave that to him, and he had this whole meditation session, and he was transported back to ancient Egypt and who he was at that time. And it was like the ever. I was like, wow, that stone is some powerful shit.
I
you know.
know.
So yeah, I've given him a wide variety of stones over the years. But I think he wears his labradorite mainly these days, which is a stone of spirit. So and he likes wearing that like as his breastplate in the middle of his chest. So yeah. So so many
Okay.
stones.
Well,
If you saw my collection, you'd be like, slow down, lady.
but I mean, it's beautiful that you guys can kind of share this. And I like, was he doing these type of things before you got interested, or was it is it after the fact?
Yeah, no, he's been very spiritually inclined his whole life, you know. The way we got together, because we met in a play, acting in a play together. And we didn't even look at each other the whole time we were rehearsing. I was not thinking about him, he wasn't thinking about me, you know. And we had a conversation after the play, finished. And it was like the deepest spiritual conversation I think I still probably have ever had. You know, we talked about everything, like every tree of life, Reiki and the Upanishads and all of these things. And I was like, oh snap, he knows almost as much as I do. So that's really what connected us. It made me be like, okay, he might be all right. So he's and people say that to him. They're like, aren't you scared of your wife? She's gonna know everything that you do. Like she reads, she gonna know. You know what I mean? Like you should be scared of her. I'm like, well, he's just as powerful as I am, so I should really be scared of him, actually.
That's
So
good though. I'm glad you guys
yeah,
share this one, this spirituality, because a lot of people, they're always searching for somebody who shares the same belief structure. And so for
yeah,
you to find that person, it makes everything so much easier, especially in a relationship and in a marriage. But
definitely.
I'm gonna take it back to the law.
Okay,
So we skipping and jumping back and forth. You
cool.
are a celebrity,
I
right? A minor
receive it.
celebrity.
Um, minor,
You've done, yes,
D-list.
yes, yeah. That's all right though. Hey,
I'll
listen,
take it.
a minor celebrity is still a celebrity.
I'll take it.
Doesn't really matter. So you've done legal analyst. You've been a legal analyst on a few shows. How did that get started, and like how is it growing for you?
Yeah. So I have a good friend. Shout out to Saya. She I swear I cannot remember her married name off the top of my head. Saya Massey. And a good friend of mine. She was a producer at TV One, and she called me up. She said, "I'm producing the show. I need an attorney to do like some analyst commentary. Do you think you can do it?" Sure, of course. TV One, yeah, I could do it. And so we did the show, and she was like, oh my God, you're so awesome. Everybody that was there was like, oh my gosh. So the other producers, they just started booking me for their shows too, their segments too. And that was just for TV One. Next thing I know, Weather Channel is calling me. Next thing I know, Oxygen is calling me. We TV, like all these things, and I'm like, oh, okay. So and she always says, if I when I set you up, you'll knock them down. So she's, Atlanta Murders, I think, or Atlanta Homicide is coming on. They're filming here. So she kind of sent my stuff over to them. Um, and so now, I've made some good contacts and connections at TV One and the various stations, and to host a show on at least, I mean, TV One is probably the one we're like furthest ahead with, actually getting something done. So I'm looking to host a true crime show here, hopefully soon, at the top of next year. So, things are moving along, and I love doing it. It's so much fun every time I'm on set. Me and my baby bump made our TV debut together a couple weeks ago for an episode we shot. And I think he likes it. He was just bouncing around the whole time. He was like, "Yeah, I like it here, Mom." So, want to do some more of that.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. I was like, whoa, like,
Thank
okay.
you.
I think I saw you on one,
Okay.
and I didn't expect to see. I forgot what I was watching, but I was just like, man, that looked like Misty. It was like, oh wait, this is Misty. What's she doing on TV? What are you doing
That's
there? You're
so
not supposed to be jumping
funny.
on my TV.
I
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I know I get these random touching payback reruns, and I just saw you. I'm like, who? That's my friend. I get stuff like that, messages random 2 o'clock in the morning, like I'm watching TV One and you're on it. So it's pretty
How do your
cool.
parents feel about it? Like, I know you're
Oh,
I met your parents once or twice. Like, how do
yeah.
they feel about it?
Oh, they're like, yeah, they love it. They love it. Well, we used to I don't remember, Javon, Fox Kids News on Fox
Right.
61. There used to be something
Oh
called
yeah.
Fox Kids News. Me and my sister were like anchors for Fox Kids News, like way, way back. And so I've always loved like the
I remember
journalism, the
them.
commentary, the legal analyst thing. So, it's like right up my alley. It's so much fun. It's easy work. I love, the connections, finished product. Like I love like looking back at it. Okay, I did look okay that day. So yeah, it's right up my alley.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure they pay well too. I'm
And
sure they pay well too.
I'm not mad. I am not mad about it.
Just
It's
keep
an easy
keep
day's
getting
work.
booked. That's all
Yeah, hey,
right. That's
look,
all right.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, there you go, right there.
For
That's the
sure,
thing
for
I
sure.
do kind of not regret is the wrong word. I acknowledge that there's like because Atlanta is such an epicenter for like creative arts as well as like TV and everything
Content.
like that. Yeah. And like I
Yeah.
feel like if I was there, I'd be cashing in like crazy. There ain't none of that up in Connecticut. No,
Come on down. Come on down.
I'm trying.
Come
I'm
on
trying to be
down.
Go
there next
podcast
year.
in person.
Yeah.
Hey, listen,
Oh,
man.
that'd be
Somebody
fun.
wants to sponsor my podcast in Connecticut, pay for that flight, be
Hey,
right on there. Like
come
I'll be
on.
right there. I'll be
From your
trying.
lips to God's ears.
Hey,
I'm
listen.
just saying, maybe we'll get to do one during the holidays.
Yeah. That's right. We won't be in Atlanta, but we
Oh,
might be work that out.
So
okay. Cool.
have you?
Jamari, I
So
got a question, but go ahead.
have you? As you have gone in and as you've made inwards, have you had anyone? Have you? What's the most significant person you've had the opportunity to do a reading for?
Oh,
Or can you say? Or
that's
you don't have
crazy.
to. You don't have to name names if that's
Well,
a
yeah,
problem.
I'll name a name. I don't know if I would say the most significant. The one that was the most memorable that, I was like, I
That's a
can't
good.
be reading
That's
for
actually
this
a good
person,
one.
was Tommy from Thomas McKell Ford. Yep. Big time. Ain't got no job. So I met him here in
You could
Atlanta.
have given me like 10 chances to guess, and I would have never guessed. Sorry.
Mm,
Big Tommy, no. I know.
I
I
would have
met him
never
here in
guessed that.
Atlanta. I know. It's crazy because you grow up watching this
Night
show,
Atlanta.
right? And then you meet like this person who's like iconic to me, you know what I mean? And I had a radio show at the time. Interviewed him for the radio show. And he knew I was a lawyer, so I actually ended up working on some of the productions that he was doing here. So I did some entertainment law, some stuff for him. And then I said, I met with him and his wife one day, and I said, let me do a reading for you. I would be honored. Him and his wife ended up actually being the same card, the same exact card, six of diamonds, beautiful heart, very giving, And he was just a beautiful
Is that a
energy.
good
So
thing though?
what's that?
Is
That they
that
were the
normally a
same
good thing
card?
if like a couple has the same
Uh,
card?
to be honest with you, not really. Because that means they're
Mm.
mirrors of each other. They're strong mirrors of each
Mm.
other. So everything they look at that other person and see that they don't like them, and everything that they look at them and see that they like is also true of them. So sometimes it can be like banging your head up against a mirror, literally. If you're trying to get this other person to change, they're trying to get you to change, in the same way. So very few cards can actually really work well together as the same card. Very few. So yeah, it's like a push pull type of thing. But yeah, so I was like the whole time I'm doing the reading, I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing a reading for Tommy. It was probably one of the most significant moments of my reading, and it was magical. So yeah.
Rest in peace, Tommy.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that's
my
we keep
brother.
calling him Tommy. What's his,
Big
his real
Tom.
name is?
That's
What's
his
his real
that's his
name?
real name, Tommy. Thomas McKell Ford.
That's
Yep,
right. It is his
yep,
real name.
yeah. Big Tom.
I
Yep,
swear. I was like, oh, okay, all right.
yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I really am proud. I'm always proud of my friends when they're doing big
Thank
things, and I'm
you.
all Facebook allows you to kind of keep track of people without like being in people's business. So like I'm always like,
Yeah.
oh, man, so happy to see her. Happy to see her.
Yeah.
How's your sister?
She's good. She's
Good.
good. They're out in Dallas, her and her husband.
That's right. You told me
Yep.
she was in Texas. That's
Living out in
good. That's good.
Dallas. Yep.
Hi,
My brother.
Melody. How are
I
you?
know. Yep. She doesn't do the social media thing too much, so it's
I
kind of,
know. I know. So
I
tell her I
know.
said hi. Tell
I
her I said hi.
will.
Tell her I
I
said hi. I
will.
haven't
I
seen
will. It's amazing to see us all grown up doing our
her.
thing.
I
Like I
know.
said, I'm super proud of you with the
All of us
artistry.
got with
It's
the kids
amazing.
and everything.
I know. We're getting up there. I'm gonna be 40 this year.
Whatever.
Ah.
I didn't pass that. We didn't already pass that.
Oh, really?
I
Oh, okay,
I'll
good.
be 42
Oh, good. That
this
makes
year.
me feel young.
Oh,
Okay.
gee, thank you. I'm the same age as your sister, I think, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
same
yeah,
age.
same age as your
Yeah,
sister.
yeah,
All right, so I'm glad we're talking family.
yeah,
You've been married about as long as I have, like
yeah.
about 7 years, right?
We've been together 10 years, married 8 years. Next month it'll be our
8 years.
eighth.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
so yeah, a little more than us. How does like you having a family and you being part of a mixed family? What do you call it? Yeah, mixed family is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
How did that like affect like your business and everything that you're doing? How does that influence or affect or however you want to put it?
Yeah, I have a bonus son. My bonus son is 16 now. I've been around.
I
I'm
should
sorry,
use
six.
that. I'm gonna
Six.
take that. I'm gonna
Yeah.
take that. I got a
Yeah.
bonus. I got bonus twins. There we go.
But there you go. Yeah, I married his dad. That's what I say all the time. Yeah, I've been around since he was 6. So, yeah, it's just amazing. It's amazing, really, to see the growth. As he was like this little bitty thing, and now he's taller than everybody in the house. Wearing a size 11 shoe, eating everything in the refrigerator. It's incredible to see the growth.
Yeah.
But really, it's just been a positive factor the whole time. We have great memories, great family moments, great vacations, great just it's just enriched my life. I always say that, like, my blended family has always added so much
Blended family.
to my
That's
life. Yeah. So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that we've had such a great relationship over the years. And that it's a village. It's really a team that raises him. Like his mom, he has a stepfather now. Like we all come together to help raise him. We're all friends. We all work together. So it's just a beautiful thing to know that we can that he's surrounded really by that much love, and that he can see adults working together because they love him. You know what I mean? So it's a beautiful thing. He's going to be a great big brother. I'm excited. He's always I always tell him he's going to be a built-in babysitter. He's like, yeah, no.
good luck with that. Good
I
luck
know,
with that.
right? He's like, no.
But you know what though, it
Yeah.
might be different though, because like I got I have bonus daughters.
Yes.
Uh, twins, and but they're girls, and my son is a boy, and he's
Yeah.
rough and tumble, and they're not. But you've
Exactly.
got a boy, so
Yeah.
you might have he might be able to, like, all right, I'm gonna follow big brother around all
Yeah.
that time. So you might look into
Oh
it.
yeah.
It might not be up to him. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. Teaching him how to play basketball and teaching
There
him
you go.
soccer and building all the stuff with him, all these Legos and stuff. So I'm like, yes, do that. I'm gonna be like, go with
Think
your
he'll
brother.
show any
Yes.
think he'll show any interest in law like you?
My son, no, he actually wants to be a robotics engineer.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Yeah, he's been talking about going to Georgia Tech since I've been around. So he's pretty clear. He wants to do engineering of some kind. Yeah.
There you
So
go. There
he's
you go.
not interested in the law at all. And I'm not interested in engineering at all. So, we kind of, respect each other's lane there. Yeah.
But it's good to see. It's good to hear you have a blended family where the parents are getting along and everything
Yeah.
like that, because you don't hear that often, or you don't hear
Yeah.
that as much as you should, I should say.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very adversarial, but for you guys to get along, that's a good thing. I was so happy to see you get married. I really was. Not
Yeah.
that you weren't going to get married, but like you looked
Oh,
so happy. Like you literally looked so happy
thank
with,
you.
with your husband. And I saw,
Yeah.
he did, he's an actor, right? Or he used to act,
Yes.
or he's still
Yeah.
acting.
He's the actor, a director, producer. He's actually directing his second feature film right now.
wow.
It's an awesome project. I'm super excited for him.
Tell him he need to come on the show. He
He's
could. This is the
he
invitation. Tell him,
does.
if you're not watching,
Yes.
you holler at me. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen, man.
On his shot right now for the film, so I don't know if he's watching. I will definitely tell him. He's an amazing artist. He's a Gemini. Geminis are really, really dope artists. So he has the same birthday as Lenny Kravitz and Miles Davis and Lauryn Hill and
Ooh,
all of
Oh,
these
did we
great
lose you?
artists.
Okay.
So, oh, did you get me? Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, it
he's
froze for a second. That's all right.
oh, sorry.
That's
Okay,
all right.
yeah,
That's
as
okay.
an artist. So,
All right. Awesome.
yeah, still happy 10 years later. And it's not easy,
Good.
You've been married, what, 7 years? There are some times where it's like, I might need some bail money. Somebody come
I
get
am
me.
not going to answer any of these questions. I'm just going to listen to what you have to
I know
say.
Tanika's like, yep, me too.
That's okay. She could say that. That she has the privilege. All right. So I
Yeah.
don't want to hold you, because I know how pregnant women, they need their
Yeah.
rest, they need their sleep.
Okay.
So we're gonna do two things and then let
Okay.
you go.
Okay.
First thing we're gonna do, if you watched the show before, I have another podcast I call it Top 5, and we do
Okay.
our top 5 lists. We'll come up with a topic, and then you tell us your top 5 favorite, and then it's just for fun, in no
Okay.
particular order. And the topics, I usually don't come up with the topics until I'm during the show, so I don't know
Oh,
until I know. So
okay.
here we go. You ready for your list?
I
All
guess
right.
so. As ready as I'm.
All right. Top 5 favorite law TV shows.
Oh, ow.
All right.
Lawyer team,
So,
interesting.
all right. No particular
Okay,
order, so you
so
don't have to rank them.
I'm a big judge show like fan. Shows.
Okay.
I'll have to go with that. Definitely Judge
Gotta go. You
Judy.
gotta give me 5 though. Okay.
Definitely Judge Judy. Number one with a
Okay.
bullet. She done been on since like '95 with her. So Judge Mathis. Just because he's gangster,
Okay.
he keeps it real.
Okay.
The
Okay.
homie. Oh boy, this is a good one. I have to really think about this. Divorce Court. I like Divorce Court a lot.
Oh, you like all the
Um,
reality shows.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
exactly. Exactly. I have to say People's Court is pretty cool too. I'll watch that. I'll take the
Okay.
time to watch that. Because I like Judge Marilyn Millian. She's cool. And then Paternity Court with Judge Lauren Lake. Just because of
Okay.
drama. it's basically Maury in
That's
a
all right.
courtroom setting, you know. So that's my
So
top
you went
five.
with the all reality show top
Yeah,
five.
because there
Okay.
aren't that
All right.
many great like lawyers like drama shows that I
You're
can
right.
think of,
We can I can think of a few. Jamari, you got your list? Or you need a minute?
I have three.
All right, go ahead. We'll make our way
Okay.
to number 2, 4, and 5.
Um, Law and Order, because when it comes there's sometimes, even if I'm not in the mood, it sometimes makes me in the mood. If I am,
Okay.
if it's on, I end up watching it. A show I've always really liked. When I was a kid, it's like the first time I really paid attention to a drama was L.A. Law.
Okay.
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 So
Yeah.
that was one.
That's a good
And
one.
because there's not I didn't think about using some of the ones that you used. You had the reality show ones, and I was just like, Judge Mathis, I could see that. But I'm going to put She-Hulk on my
Yeah.
list just
What?
because of
All right, She-Hulk. She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. Even,
She-Hulk. Oh,
The
that's
Marvel.
the
Yeah.
new Marvel show. Yeah,
You might like
yeah.
it.
I
You
haven't
might
seen
like
it
it.
yet. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna
All
check
right.
it out.
You got two. You can't get two more? This one that I
Mhm.
can't believe you haven't said.
What show? I'm curious.
All right, I'll do my 5. I'll give you an opportunity to think of 2 more. All right. All right. So number 1, my favorite show of all time is Suits. I love Suits.
Okay.
I knew that was coming for you. So.
Suits is my
only.
favorite law show.
Okay. Okay.
I think you would like it because it is like that white collar, like
Yeah.
crime, like big business law.
I think I've seen like one
So
episode, but I fell off.
I
So
love
yeah,
it.
I have to get into it. Okay.
I love
Suits.
it. I love it.
Okay.
All right. The spinoff for Suits. What was the name with the? Why can't I remember the name of the show? With the black woman.
All Rise.
Gina
No, not
Torres.
all right. Gina Torres. I can't remember her character's last name, but
Oh,
she had a spinoff for it.
okay.
Really? Okay.
I do like Judge Mathis. I will, every now and again.
Uh-huh.
Back when I was in Atlanta, actually, I used to watch a lot of like Judge Mathis because
Okay.
I had a lot of daytime TV. So we'll say Judge Mathis.
Yeah.
This is tough. Oh, How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that one. Yeah, I give
Absolutely,
it to you. Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
that was good. Good drama.
Hmm, hmm. That's tough. Last one. I'm not gonna lie. I like watching ratchetness. So Divorce Court is
Yeah.
kind of funny. Well, not divorce. Yeah, Divorce Court. Yeah, Divorce Court.
Mhm.
I like to watch the ratchetness sometimes. So I'll go with those.
Yeah, interesting.
Jamari, you got 2?
Mm. I'm going to steal Judge Mathis, and the only reason I'm going to put this one on my list is purely because of the theme and the People's Court.
Okay, People's Court.
Okay.
Purely the theme alone is the only reason, because it's kind of iconic at this point, and for some reason rappers like using that in songs as their sample. Go with that.
So you're trying to remember the thing.
Okay.
All right.
And
So
many like current law shows. Like I was trying to think when you said lawyer shows that are like currently on. I'm
Perry Mason, I guess, would
like,
be like a
I don't.
classic.
Perry Mason. Yeah.
Perry
That's like
Mason.
it's been so
Or
long since I've seen
That,
Perry Mason.
I was gonna say that one is like historic at this point.
I couldn't even tell you one
point,
episode.
You get, if
Honestly,
you want the really old ones, you go for like Perry Mason, which is black. Like the original ones were literally black and white.
I used to
there's-
watch Perry Mason with my grandfather. Like I know I watched it and I know I liked it, but I honestly couldn't tell you one episode, not one.
Yeah. No,
So we got one last thing before you go,
okay.
because I have to do it because you did a
Do
reading
it.
for me and you did a reading for Jamari.
Can do it.
I would like a reading for Tanika.
Oh yeah, for sure. When is her birthday again?
July 30th. Of course I'm going to do it. Come on, man. July 30th.
So y'all are 2 Leos? Oh, Leos together. That's a lot of fire right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
That could be really explosive in a lot of ways. July 30th. You know what's so funny? I just somebody just asked me about that card the other day, actually. And if I'm not mistaken, oh, that's so precious. No wonder why you guys
Is the same card?
get along so well. No, but
I
card.
was gonna.
It's
It's a
similar. But so
okay.
you're a jack of diamonds
Okay.
and she's a jack of hearts. So very similar, just a slightly different manifestation. So jacks of hearts, oh man, they are ah, they have such a beautiful energy. They're really, really great with love. Like love is their superpower. Their love can really heal. It can uplift. Like they have an energy that kind of uplifts the room as well. Like yours would be more of a playful uplifting, like just this energetic uplifting. Hers is more of like this like healing balm kind of love, right? So they're known also as they're often called to make certain sacrifices for the people that they love, whether it's their children or just other loved ones. So they have to make sacrifices throughout their life for the people that they love, which can be kind of burdensome. Some of them, if they feel like resentful about it, it can add like a little tinge to their love. But really, they have this subconscious awareness that they're really here to love. And sometimes they can that are broken in some way just to see their love heal somebody. So that could have happened in the past. But beautiful, beautiful
That's very
energy.
political. That's very political. What you just said right
Yeah.
there. Oh,
Oh
that
boy.
could have happened in the past.
Yeah, in the past, in the past. Well, as they grow and mature, they learn to use their love in a much more productive way, as opposed to, like really not able to receive it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So as they get more, wise, they learn to stop doing that. For energy, Christ consciousness, very giving, very loving. They're not so much on the side. They are much more aware of their like calling to heal with love, pretty much. Um, definitely, they can be based on the amount of sacrifice they've had to make for their loved ones. So that's definitely something to watch out for. But yeah, again, very youthful, ever young as well. So it's a very similar energy that the both of you and you're both Leos. So that's really interesting as well. Very similar in a lot of ways, which can be good. It can be good because then y'all have an understanding. But when it's like be like that too. So yeah, as long as the both of you basically have great energy, as long as the both of you continue to shower that energy upon each other, it can be awesome. So yeah, and just know when it feels like you're banging your head up against the mirror, you probably are, and you probably need to take a step back and look at your own self versus trying out and like change your partner. Help a lot in those situations. So, but yeah, the
Interesting.
Jack of Hearts, love that card. Beautiful, beautiful person. Yeah. I can actually see that now that you tell me that. I'm like, oh yeah, I can see that. Because every time she comes around, I'm like, oh, Tanika. I'd be like, oh, she's here. You know,
Well,
yeah.
thank you once again for coming on the show. We're gonna let you go so you can go rest and not have to sit in that chair. You can go
Thank
rest and
Mm-hmm.
you.
relax.
Thank
We
Once
appreciate
you.
your
again,
time.
congratulations and looking forward to seeing pictures of the baby.
Yay. I know. I have a feeling he's going to look just like me. So, you
It's gonna
know.
honestly, it's gonna flip flop so much, it ain't even worth it. Like
I know. I
it's
know.
just not even worth it. And people are always like trying to do that with Junior. Like, oh, he looks like. Listen, to this week he gonna look like me. Next week he gonna
Yeah,
look like her. The
that's
week after he
true.
gonna look like my mama. The week after
Yeah,
that he
look
gonna look
like
like
her
her
mama.
daddy.
Right, right.
I just
True.
listen. I'll be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But listen,
Yes.
congratulations
Thank
again.
you.
Please, if you're interested in anything you heard today about Mrs. Misty Oaks Paxton, go to www.thespiritualattorney.com. You can find out all of her stuff there as well as her book. We didn't even get into the book, But we can have you back on. I'll let you do your maternity first, but then we'll get you back on when you get some projects coming up that you want to push. Feel free to reach out to me. We can definitely have you back on. Thank you once again. Thank you for everybody who.
Me.
Yes, absolutely. Anytime.
Thank you for your time. We appreciate you being here.
And thank you everybody who tuned in and everybody who will tune in. And next week we're gonna have, if I'm not mistaken, yes, we're gonna have another lawyer or a former lawyer on the show talking about my good friend Jason Hines. He's gonna be talking about religious liberty. So it's a bit different, but we call this the law block for the next 2 weeks. But please come back 8 p.m. as always live. Y'all have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you later.
Peace, y'all.